Chapter 6. Ashes in the Wind. The loudest smoke leaves the quietest ashes. The sky over Highgardens was thick with fog and paranoia. Black Serpent's fall had left a crater in the city's soul, half celebration, half silence. The north side was leaderless now, the streets humming with uncertainty like a fresh blunt passed between enemies. Bud Smoke sat in the back of the last leaf, staring at the wall-sized strain board, crossbreeds, hybrids, and legacy names scratched out in black ink. One slot remained blank, the spot reserved for his own. The one hitta quitta, the true hitter, the myth. The strain that could knock a grown man down in 2 pulls and lift his spirit out his body by the 4th. Mary Jane sat on the edge of the couch, cleaning her Glock like she was brushing her hair. Calm, focused, dangerous. "Heard they run in Serpent's old grow tunnels for shelter now," she said. "Squatters. Jackboys. Old customers looking for the last Venom G13 crumbs." Bud lit a blunt rolled in pressure pack purple and took a long, angry pull. "I ain't cleaning up his shit," he muttered. "I'm not the mayor." "No," Mary Jane said, cocking the slide. "You just the motherfucker that killed him." Bud stared into the smoke, like he could read the city's future in the swirl. "Maybe that's the problem," he said. In the wake of Serpent's destruction, a power vacuum sucked new demons to the surface. Crews that had long played second fiddle were crawling out the cracks now, puffing up like they had muscle. Names like Skimp Nation, known for selling bunkweed in shiny bags with fake QR codes. The Mold Men, a bizarre crew that ran underground, fermented weed grown in sewer damp, passed off as exotic. The Zoinks Cartel, street-level jokers with clown face tats who laced edibles with PCP and sold them as slap cookies. But one name kept rising above the static. Drowsy. Nobody'd seen his face, just heard the whispers, strains that knocked folks unconscious for 8 hours, edibles that hit like fentanyl. Rumor said he used Serpent's leftover labs and was breeding next-gen mutants. Weed spliced with sleeping gas. Hash laced with blackout chemicals. Strange drops that left customers stuck for whole weekends. Bud didn't like it. "Get me a sample," he told Capo. "I need to see it myself." Capo Z'd met with a Zoinks affiliate near Ounce Alley, a tight stretch of graffitied walls and fake dispensaries in the West Blunt district. They gave him a pre-roll called Coma Cloud. Capo smoked it once. He didn't wake up for 26 hours. When he did, he was vomiting blood. "This ain't weed, bruh," he groaned. "This some science project gone wrong." Mary Jane paced the room, eyes like knives. "They pushin' poison." Bud said nothing. He stared at the half-burnt Coma Cloud blunt still sitting in an ashtray. The smoke from it curled like a finger, pointing north, toward the old Serpent tunnels. That night, Bud rolled deep. Mary Jane, Queen Sativa, Capo Z, and Smoke Deacon all rode in silence, dressed in grow-op gear and bulletproof vests, stitched with G13 killer patches. The entrance to the old tunnels was through an abandoned dispensary called Keefe Coast Customs, boarded up and stinking of chemical rot. They went in hot, flashbangs first, then steel. The tunnels weren't empty. They were lit with biolights, sickly green tubes flickering like dying nerves. And the plants growing there? They weren't natural. Bud paused at the sight of them. Purple stems, webbed leaves, glowing trichomes that pulsed with light. "What the fuck is this?" Capo asked. Mary Jane leaned in close, sniffed the bud. "Smells like menthol and morphine," she said. From the back of the grow chamber, a voice echoed. "You came for the roots," it said. A figure stepped out, dressed in a hazmat suit, gas mask glowing red, holding a blunt the size of a flute. "I'm Drowsy," he said. "Welcome to the future." Drowsy didn't flinch as Bud and the crew raised their weapons. He took a long pull from his oversized blunt and exhaled something thick and iridescent, almost like fog with glitter trapped in it. The smoke twisted unnaturally, hugging the ceiling like it had memory. You kill Serpent, he said, voice warped behind the mask. But you ain't kill the market? Bud didn't blink. You poisoning heads for clout? No, Drowsy said. I'm evolving the experience. Smoke Deacon stepped forward, gun raised. Say that bullshit again, and I'ma evolve your face. Drowsy lifted one finger. The lights pulsed. From the shadows, half a dozen twitchy figures staggered out, barefoot, foaming slightly, pupils dilated like black holes. They wore Drowsy's brand across their chests, Nap City, and each one had a blunt sealed into their mouths with tape. Testers, Drowsy said. Willing volunteers. They said they wanted to escape. Bud felt his stomach twist. This ain't weed, he muttered. This is some Saw 3 shit. Mary Jane moved first, 2 quick shots to the floor in front of Drowsy. Tell them to back up. Drowsy didn't move. They ain't under my command. They're under the high. The blunt heads lunged. Capo Z tossed a THC flash. It lit the chamber green. Everyone ducked. The next 10 seconds were chaos. Screams, smoke, wild gunfire. When it cleared, the blunt heads were twitching on the floor, unconscious or worse. Drowsy was gone. Shit, Bud yelled, chasing through the side exit. He found nothing but smeared footprints and a half-burnt map labeled Nap City, Phase 2. Back at the last leaf, Bud paced like a lion in a hot box. This ain't just turf war anymore, he said. This is chemical warfare. Queen Sativa sat with a jar of the mutated flower. This shit's biosynthetic, she muttered. Somebody's mixing pharma into the THC genome. Mary Jane's jaw clenched. We gotta burn it. Every laboratory, every corner. Bud nodded. Torch the network. They hit Zaza Lane, Moonrock Meadows, and Trap Treehouse within 48 hours. Each spot was rigged with trip bombs, drone cams, and zombied-up testers. But nothing stopped Bud's squad. They moved like fire in a dry forest. Fast, loud, permanent. One tester exploded after being shot, implanted with a body bomb. Another had a voice recorder shoved in his throat. We'll sleep when the smoke wins. Bud kept the recordings. By week's end, only one zone remained. A deep lab below Doobie District, nicknamed The Pillow. This was Drowsy's base, the myth, the seed vault. It was surrounded by brick and steel, guarded by former G9 killers high on experimental blends. Queen Sativa hacked their feed. Bud studied the layout. We need to go nuclear. Mary Jane smiled. You thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, Bud said. It's time we turn this smoke into napalm. Operation Napalm wasn't just a name. It was a full-blown wake-up call. Bud's crew didn't roll in with silencers this time. They pulled up to the Pillow in a gutted dispensary van, wrapped in old Free Pre-Roll Friday decals. Inside the vehicle? Enough flame accelerant, THC-infused Molotovs, and modified strain grenades to burn down a goddamn precinct. Smoke Deacon was behind the wheel, mouth tight, shades on. Y'all ready to make history or headlines? Both, Bud said, loading a blunt into a launcher. Let's light the fucking page. The entrance to the Pillow was under an old cannabis candy shop, Sour Puff Syndicate, boarded up and rigged with pressure plates disguised as candy displays. Mary Jane disarmed it mid-stride. They think we playin'. We the ones that grow the game. Queen Sativa deployed smoke bugs, tiny drones that leaked haze and mapped rooms. Inside, it was a horror greenhouse. Rows of human-sized glass pods. Each one held a sleeping body, wrapped in vapor. Monitors beeped with brainwave data. Every strain label had a warning. Snoozeberry OG, melatonin mist, flatline fritter. They makin' sleep weapons, Capo muttered. This ain't no dispensary. This a fucking lullaby lab. Drowsy's voice echoed from unseen speakers. You burn serpent, you prune my gardens, but sleep is eternal. Mary Jane drew 2 burners. Then wake up and catch these bullets. The lab doors locked. Gasped. Panic. Bud activated his THC mask, custom filtered, and pulled Mary Jane close. We blast through the west vent, now. Sativa rigged charges. Capo covered their six. Boom. Steel tore like foil. Fire followed. They emerged in a burn room. Inside, dozens of Drowsy's foot soldiers strapped in chairs, inhaling massive quantities of altered smoke. It hit Bud instantly. Slow time. Numb legs. Reality wobble. Mary Jane slapped his face. Focus. He fought through the haze. Shot 2 guards in the kneecaps. End this shit. Sativa rigged the grow tank. They sprinted. Boom. Flames devoured the pillow. Outside, dawn cracked pink. Fire trucks wailed in the distance. The crew stood on the rooftop, soot-covered, eyes wild. Bud took the final drag of a fat blunt. He looked at the city. The war just went from turf to terror, he said. Mary Jane wrapped her arm around him. So what now? Bud stared down at Highgardens. We find Drowsy's supplier, he said. Ain't no way he built all that alone. Somebody bigger behind this. Sativa nodded. Then we grow louder, stronger. Capo Zid lit a joint, coughed once. This shit's deeper than roots, fam. Bud smiled. Good, 'cause we got fertilizer. The ruins of the pillow smoked for days. Every cop, hustler, and gossip blog in Highgardens had a theory. Some said a rival cartel torched it. Others swore it was ghosts from the Serpent era. But the streets knew the truth. Bud Smoke was making moves, and somebody up top was getting nervous. In a penthouse above Edible Heights, a man in a velvet robe sat in a dim room. His name was Dr. Otto Cushman, head of the Botanic Syndicate, a shadow faction so deep in the weed industry, they built the testing labs for the city's dispensaries, legal, illegal, and underground. He held a tablet, watching thermal drone footage of the pillow's destruction. He sipped cannabis wine and frowned. Bud Smoke again, he muttered. A woman appeared behind him, Nugeta, his enforcer, dreadlocks dyed like sour diesel, gold AK charm swinging from her neck. Should we act? She asked. Not yet, Otto said. Let the smoke spread. The more visible he becomes, the easier he is to crush. Meanwhile, Bud and Mary Jane weren't celebrating. They were burying soldiers. Smoke Deacon caught a stray in the pillow blast. Capo Zid was still coughing up resin from the gas. And Queen Sativa? She'd disappeared after the explosion. Left behind a grow note. Going underground to splice something cleaner. Bud felt the war shift in his bones. We ain't just fightin' dealers no more, he said to Mary Jane. We fightin' corporations wearing hoodies. She cocked her head. You ready for that level? I was born on that level, he said. I just been waiting for the game to catch up. Bud visited an old friend in the pre-roll district, Uncle Spliff, a former hash king turned underground historian. The man had strains in jars so old, they were labeled in Sharpie and disrespect. Bud showed him a sample pulled from the pillow, some mutated bud with electric veins running through it. Uncle Spliff whistled. This shit's been cooked. What you mean? This ain't natural. This got deep batch terpenes and synthetic nerve blockers. Whoever made this ain't no trap grower. This some pharmaceutical warlord type shit. Bud clenched his fists. Otto Cushman? Spliff shrugged. Could be. Could be someone paying Otto. Bud walked out of the grow lab with a mission burning in his lungs. He wasn't just going to shut the labs down. He was going to tear down the supply chain. Every dirty doctor, every corrupt test site, every lab rat pretending to be a plug. Fuck sleep, Bud growled, lighting a fresh Godfather OG. Time to wake this city the fuck up. Bud and Mary Jane didn't waste time. They called in a street summit at the Greenhouse Cathedral, a broken-down dispensary turned neutral meeting zone. Only real OGs and growers with verified dirt under their nails got invites. No clout chasers, no camera phones. Inside, smoke curled like holy incense. Every corner had stories. Every crack in the wall held secrets. Bud stood in the center, eyes on fire. This ain't about me. This ain't about territory, he said. This is about protecting the soil that fed us. The weed game got hijacked. Poison strains, pharma plugs, sleep experiments. Our whole city's lungs are under attack. Heads nodded. A few lit up in silence. This is war, Bud growled. And I ain't asking for alliances. I'm declaring them. A grower named Sticky Jim rose up. You got us, Bud. We tired of that fake loud shit too. Another, Trap Granny, Silver Locks and Arthritis Joints, lifted a custom blunt cane. They stole my son with that sleepweed. I'm with you till my last toke. The War Council became a wildfire. Plans were laid. Maps drawn on rolling tray lids. Targets selected. The Greenhouse Cathedral became the rebel HQ. 2 nights later, Bud and Mary Jane hit their first corporate target, the Canalytics Center, where Otto Cushman's Botanic Syndicate tested their lab-grown killer blends. Bud didn't sneak in. He walked through the front door wearing all black, a custom gas mask, and a flame cannon strapped to his back. Mary Jane covered him from the roof with a sniper scope blunt launcher. Her aim? Deadly accurate. Bud lit up the entire facility. Flames danced like spirits. Corporate thugs scrambled, and one even tried to bribe him mid-mission. Name your price, the man begged. Bud spit in his face. Price? You can't buy back clean lungs. He torched the vault, left the cameras recording. Next morning, the footage went viral across Highgardens. The weed rebellion has begun. Some called it terrorism, some called it truth. But one thing was certain. Bud Smoke wasn't just protecting the city anymore. He was purifying it. Otto Cushman watched the footage in silence. He didn't blink, didn't sip his drink. He turned to Nugeta. Send the botanics, he said. All of them. Nugeta raised an eyebrow. You sure? That's every lab-certified killer in our pocket. He smiled. Exactly. Highgardens trembled. Blunts rolled fatter. Glocks loaded quicker. The smoke was no longer a vibe. It was a warning. And the war was just heating up.